I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay.
Paramasugadam kevalam jnanamurtim dvandvatitam gagana sadrisham tattvamasyaadilaksham ekam nityam vimalamachalam sarvati sakshibhutam bhavatitam trigunarahitam sadgurum tam namami. Nithyanandam, we offer our humble obeisance, our humble pranam to the divine lotus feet of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. We welcome all the viewers across the world for Uttama Seva for Paramashiva, offered from Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalaya in Adi Kailash Sarvajna Peetam. In the hours before we are graced with the darshan of Swamiji, of Paramashiva himself, this is the most opportune time for us to prepare ourselves, our body and our mind towards. For those of you tuning in for the first time to Kailasha's Nithyananda TV, welcome to the official TV programming for Sri Kailasha, the only and greatest Hindu nation in the world. Sri Kailasha is a Hindu nation revived by Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, which serves millions with a single yet powerful way to experience and Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is an avatar from and is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and is the reviver of Kailasha, the ancient enlightened civilization and the great cosmic borderless Hindu nation. His Divine Holiness has made the science of power manifestation, yoga and temple-based universities for humanity. Sovereign Order of Kailasha, led by His Divine Holiness and Nithyananda Order of monks, nuns, and Hindu diaspora are working for global peace and to give a superconsciousness breakthrough to humanity. Nithyananda Hindu University is the world's largest university with extended campuses in 150 countries, is collecting, organizing, preserving, time capsuling, decoding, spreading, and reviving 20 million source books of Hinduism and the 64 sacred arts and sciences like Ayurveda, music, dance, sculpting, astrology, and Vastu. His Divine Holiness is the 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of Shyamala Pita Sarvajna Pitam, the ancient apex body of Hinduism and present emperor of Surya Vamsha Surangi Samrajyam. His Divine Holiness has survived the worst persecution of many assassination attempts on person and character by anti-Hindu elements. To explore the more videos, you can visit Kailasa's Nithyananda YouTube channel. Paramashiva has come down to planet Earth and manifested this grand Leela of his life for each and every one of us to be part. Swamiji has taken this physical form and came down from Kailasa itself. Now that he is here, we can celebrate his happening on planet and spread this message of Sri Kailasa. We invite all the viewers to share this link with all on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other social media platforms. As we continue in Uttamottama Seva introduction, leading to pre-satsang, leading to satsang by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, let us do whatever we can to reach this message to one and all. For all of us, millions of Sri Kailashavasis all over the world, you and me, if we have had any spiritual breakthrough, any great experience of Kundalini awakening, if today we are able to manifest Shaktis, it is because at the mere age of 12, Swamiji did the Tyaga of sitting with utmost sincerity and ferociousness with himself and manifesting this ultimate spiritual breakthrough. There are innumerable reasons why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, happened on planet Earth. He happened to cause the next evolutionary breakthrough for life on Earth. He happened to cause the Satya Yuga once again. He happened for the fulfillment of consciousness itself. He happened for the entire humanity, and he happened exclusively for you at the same time. Ultimately, however, in words that cannot quite summarized either by himself or his devotees, the true reason behind the happening of Swamiji is nothing but pure compassion. This realization will happen in you after reading and listening to the full life story of Swamiji, all of his gifts for humanity and his sacrifices. You will journey through all the years that his feet graced the planet Earth. You will learn the greatest of his lessons, and your aspirations for life itself will mature. You are yourself will have the realization that brings tears to your eyes and ultimate surrender into your mind. The avatar of Paramashiva happened on planet Earth just to ensure we realize we are also Paramashiva. Kailasa is the nation which is revived by His Divine Holiness. As told by His Divine Holiness, Kailasa is nothing but the enlightenment ecosystem of Tiruvannamalai gone right. Tiruvannamalai is the home of Arunachala, the mighty mountain form that Paramashiva decided to take, which is exalted in Arunachala Mahatyam as Namasmarana Matrena Yat Pataka Nashanam, that which destroys all sins and grants the eternal state of Paramashiva by merely remembering its name Arunachala. At the center of this civilization was the Guru Sishya Parampara, the tradition of learning from the Guru in all different kinds of fields and passing that knowledge through generations. The Sri Guru Gita shows us how in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the most valued quality is being an open receiver, a ready listener, and the most esteemed action is learning. It was defined since the time of Paramashiva that the sacred knowledge and transcendental wisdom, the jnana, the being who imparts this knowledge, the Guru, and all those who receive it also, the Sishya, are together a quite essential combination for the conscious growth for any being in the journey of life. You will journey through all the years that his feet grace the planet Earth. You will learn the greatest of his lessons, and your aspirations for life itself will mature. You are yourself will have the realization that brings tears to your eyes and ultimate surrender into your mind. Avatar of Paramashiva happened on planet Earth just to ensure we realize we are also Paramashiva. After thousands of years of thriving and advancing the evolution of humanity with new methods of communication and excel comprehension, these civilizations were among the first on planet Earth to rapidly grow and experience abundance in the form of wealth, health, and prosperity. The Vedic civilization was the richest civilization which contributed the largest share of world's GDP in the year 1000. The richness in knowledge and in material wealth attracted one and all to experience the Vedic lifestyle which was gifted to the world by Paramashiva. However, it also became the target for growing negative forces who sought to rob the gold, destroy the temples, and enslave the people. Whether we enjoy from Hinduism, whatever we enjoy from Hinduism today is directly because of the Guru Sishya Parampara, which has safeguarded the ancient science of enlightenment from the time of Paramashiva, even into the modern day, as materialism and corruption pervade countries and billions more souls undergo torture inflicted by ruling negative forces. The Guru Sishya Parampara has continued to bring to the world and sacred knowledge of enlightenment, naturally evolving relationships, communities, and ideologies which are based in peace, love, and conflict free life. As opposing, violent and negative forces grow on one side in multifarious ways and agree for mutually assured destruction. In a conscious effort to bring more peace and bliss in the world, Hindu gurus have single handedly fueled the ideologies which strengthen consciousness and peacefully revolutionized the way of life for every human being on planet Earth. Despite being stripped of any form of protection, ultimately it was due to the sacrifice of the gurus who were able to withstand, attack, and protect this knowledge that today Hinduism has survived the most violent attack against a single civilization. Peaceful, working solutions derived from the Vedic sciences were sought after even in the West, where it was brought by Hindu gurus, who once again began traveling all over the world to bring a conscious breakthrough to humanity. For example, in 1983, Swami Vivekananda, who was a product of the lineage of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Totapuri from Calcutta, West Bengal, traveled to the United States for the first time. By bringing yoga, meditation, and the fundamental truths of Sanatana Hindu Dharma to the United States of America, it is accepted that Swami Vivekananda literally changed the world at that time. He met and influenced the masses and world leaders to change their ideas about themselves, the world, the universe in the lines of conscious breakthrough. As we continued into the 20th century, the Guru Sishya Parampara produced superconsciousness beings such as Paramahamsa Yogananda, Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, Sri Aurobindo, among several others who had made breakthroughs like this and together worked to overpower the growing negative forces of the world. If not for the Paramahamsas who have descended on planet Earth and the Guru Sishya Parampara, which made that possible, the world would be destroyed by these terribly violent people, groups, and ideologies. Today, the UN Office of Disarmament Affairs reports 14,500 dangerous nuclear weapons which exist on Earth today. Even one of these weapons can destroy a whole city, potentially killing millions and jeopardizing the natural environment and lives of future generations through its long term catastrophic effects. While only one of these nuclear weapons were actually used in 1945 when the United States Army bombed the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, the whole world was devastated to see the extent of violence possible by man made warfare. While on one side the Guru Sishya Parampara was able to bring a conscious breakthrough, the threats against these positive forces and humanity at large still remain and continue to grow stronger. The Gurus who have worked tirelessly in the modern day for raising the consciousness of humanity were attacked by corrupt forces who are invested in spreading false anti Hindu narratives and inciting hatred against Hindu traditions, practices, and leaders. Every Hindu guru is specifically and severely targeted to stamp out the immense potential they possess to liberate the masses and lead them to a spiritual awakening. Hindu gurus are the more and more vulnerable today to illegal arrest, inhuman treatment, and assassination attempts and defamation. To protect the Guru Sishya Parampara and allow it to continue to protect the world from destruction, there needed to be a larger protection, a guide for humanity to bring us the next, most ultimate breakthrough. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, happened on planet Earth for this exact purpose. His Divine Holiness was birthed by an esteemed group of enlightened beings, including Mataji Vibhudananda Puri, Yogiraj Yogananda Puri, Isakki Swamigal, Narayana Swami Pillai, and Annamalai Swamigal, and Yogi Ramasurat Kumar in Tirunamalai in 1978. From auspicious time of his advent on earth, His Divine Holiness perfectly demonstrated all the signs of superconsciousness manifesting his divine life unfolded in deeply devotional, unfathomable leelas as the adorned incarnation of the whole town of Tiruvannamalai. On 24th May in 1994, His Divine Holiness was ritualistically coronated as the incarnation of Paramashiva by his gurus. During this Yoga Pattabhishekam, his gurus proudly declared the successful manifestation of the ultimate superconsciousness through the body of His Divine Holiness, and he was conferred the title of Sri Brahmasukhi by his immediate predecessor, Mataji Vibhudanandapuri. Shortly after this coronation, his gurus left the body and attained the state of Mahasamadhi, the final state of oneness with Paramashiva. In 1995, His Divine Holiness auspiciously began his tireless work for the enlightened civilization on planet Earth, Sri KAILASA. As the final abatement to thousands of years of ruthless persecution against Hindu gurus, His Divine Holiness has successfully revived the world's only Hindu nation and through this brings a super consciousness breakthrough for the whole humanity. Through the nation of Kailasha, what Swami Vivekananda visualized, Sri Aurobindo aspired, Osho worked for, Mahesh Yogi mandated, His Divine Holiness actually made it. Today we are offering Uttamottama Seva to Lord Paramashiva. Uttamottama Seva is a Vedic ritual straight from the source, from the Agamas. Uttamottama means the best of the best, and Seva is offering. It is the ritual of offering the best of the best to Paramashiva. Whatever we offer to Paramashiva comes back to us in thousandfold, many millionfold. And Paramashiva is the source of everything, be it grains or knowledge or skill or people, everything. Uttamottama Seva is an intricate ritual that is described by Paramashiva himself. So many offerings are there that come from the best of the best that is offered in Vedic tradition. From the instruments to the offering of food that should be offered to Paramashiva. The various types of dance and the way it is danced. The Uttamottama Seva is described by Paramashiva as the best of the best. We offer Abhishekam, Vastram, Gandham, Abharanam, Archanam, Dupam, Deepam, Naivedyam, Aratrikam, Deepopacharam, Pushpanjalim, Chaturvedam, Grihasuktam, Agamastotram, Dravida Vedam, Nityam, Sangeetam, Vadyam, and Swasti Vachanam. The source of all these best things is Paramashiva. He has given these to us, and offering them back at his feet is what we do during the puja, whereby we experience the intense Shaktini Pata and Advaita, the oneness with him. And as a result, we leave the state and radiate the space and manifest the Shaktis of Paramashiva. And also, since it is Agama Vidhi, Paramashiva's instructions, we offer them during the Seva. The best of the food offered as Naivedyam, the best movement a body can make offered as dance, Nitya Seva, and best of the sound offered as music, Sangeeta Seva, and the best of consciousness offered as power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana, the best that humanity can offer to Paramashiva as gratitude is offered in Uttamottama Seva. Today, our Gurukul Balasans are offering Uttamottama Seva to Lord Paramashiva. Let's all stay tuned and enjoy this Seva and get the blessings of Paramashiva and the His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Thank you, Nithyanandam.
What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world.
Nithyananda Paramashiva is the offering of the Chaturveda. Devadevottama Devatastabhava Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Nithyananda Shri Parashikti Sameta Nithyananda Shri Paramashiva Chaturveda Priya Chaturvedam Avadharaya. Rigveda Hari Om Agnime Purohitvam Yajnasya Devam Rigvijam Hota Aram Ratnadatavam Hari Om. Yajurveda Hari Om Isheto Jetva Vayavasto Payapastu Devo Vaishavita Rape Tusheshtamaya Karmane Hari Om. Samaveda Hari Om Agna Ayahi Pitaye Grahano Havyadataye Nihota Sapti Barihishi Hari Om. Atharva Veda Hari Om Channo Devi Rabhishya Apo Pavantu Pitaye Chanyo Rabhishyavantu Naha Hari Om. The next offering of the Uttamottama Seva at the feet of Devi Nithyanandeshwari Parashikti Sameta Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva is the offering of the Agama Sloka. Devadevottama Devata Sarvabhauma Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Nithyanandeshwari Parashikti Sameta Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Agama Shloka Priya Agama Shloka Navadharaya. Agatam Shiva Vaktrebhyo Gatam Chagiri Jamukhe Matam Hivasudevasya Tasmadagama Uchyate. Shri Bhagavan Vacha अति कौतूहलाविष्टा पृच्छस्ये तच्छृणुप्रिये यन्मे नेत्रान्तरे वह्निर् यद्वामृतमनुत्तमम् तत् सर्वं कथयिष्यामि योगयुक्त्या शृणुप्रिये यत्स्वरूपं निजं शुद्धं व्यापकं सर्वतोमुखं तया पूर्या सुमूर्धान्तं भङ्क्त्वा ब्रूक्षेपसेतुना निर्विकल्पं मनः कृत्वा सर्वोद्वे सर्वगोद्गमः सूर्या चन्द्रमसौ वह्निर्स्थितामपरिकल्पना त्रिनेत्रकल्पना मह्यं तदर्थमिह दृश्यते दामान्तक्षोभसम्भूता सूक्ष्माग्नितिलकाकृतिं बिन्दुं शिखान्ते हृदये लयान्ते ध्यायतो लयः.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have some.
The feet of Devi Nithyanandeswari Parashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeswara Paramashiva is the offering of the Stotra Seva. Deva Devottama Devata Sarvabhauma Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Sri Nithyanandeswari Parashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeswara Paramashiva Stotra Priya Stotram Avadharaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sadashivaya Sakala Tattvatmakaya Sarvamantrasvarupaya Sarvayantradhishitaya Sarvatantrasvarupaya Sarvatattvaviduraya Brahmarudravatarini Neelakanthaya Parvati Manoharaya Somasuryagnilochanaya Bhasmodulita Vigrahaya Mahamanimukutadharanaya माणिक्यभूषणाय सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयकालरौद्रावताराय दक्षाध्वरध्वंसकाय महाकालभेदनाय मूलाधारैकनिलयाय सत्त्वातीताय गंगाधराय सर्वदेवादिदेवाय षडाश्रयाय वेदान्तसाराय त्रिवर्गसाधनाय अनंतकोटि ब्रह्मांड नायकाय अनंतवासुकितक्षककारकोटक शंख गुलिक पद्म महापद्मेति अष्टमहानाग कुलभूषणाय प्रणवस्वरूपाय चिदाकाशाय आकाशदिक्स्वरूपाय ग्रहनक्षत्रमालिने सकलाय कलंकरहिताय सकललोकैककर्त्रे सकललोकैकभर्त्रे सकललोकैकसंहर्त्रे सकललोकैकगुरवे सकललोकैकसाक्षिणे सकलनिगमगुह्याय सकलवेदान्तपारगाय सकललोकैकवरप्रदाय सकललोकैकशङ्कराय शशाङ्कशेखराय शाश्वतनिजावासाय निराभासाय निरामयाय निर्मलाय निर्मदाय निश्चिन्ताय निरहङ्काराय निरङ्कुशाय निष्कलङ्काय निर्गुणाय निष्कामाय निरुपप्लवाय निरुपद्रवाय निरवध्याय निरन्तराय निष्कारणाय निरन्तकाय निष्प्रपञ्चाय निस्सङ्गाय निर्द्वन्द्वाय निराधाराय निरागाय निष्क्रोधाय निर्लोपाय निष्पापाय निर्भयाय निर्विकल्पाय निर्भेदाय निष्क्रियाय निस्तुलाय निस्संशयाय निरुपमविभवाय नित्यशुद्धबुद्धपरिपूर्ण सच्चिदानन्दाद्वयाय परमशान्तस्वरूपाय तेजोरूपाय तेजोमयाय जय जय रुद्र महारौद्र भद्रावतार महाभैरव कालभैरव कल्पान्तभैरव कपालमालाधर खट्वांग खड्ग चर्म पाशांकुश डमरू शूल चाप बाण गदा शक्ति भिंडिपाल तोमर मुसल मुद्गर पाश परिघ भुषुंडी षटग्नि चक्राद्यायुध भीषण कर सहस्रमुखदंष्ट्राकरालवदन विकटाट्टहास निस्पारित ब्रह्मांड मंडल नागेंद्र कुंडल नागेंद्रहार नागेंद्र वलय नागेंद्र निकेतन नित्युंजय त्र्यंबक विश्वरूप विरूपाक्ष विश्वेश्वर वृषभवाहन विश्वभूषण विश्वतोमुख सर्वतो रक्ष रक्ष मां ज्वल ज्वल महामृत्युमपमृत्युभयं नाशय नाशय चोरभयम् उत्सादय उत्सादय विषसर्पभयं समय समय चोरान् मारय मारय मम शत्रून् उच्चाटय उच्चाटय त्रिशूलेन विधारय विधारय कुठारेण भिण्डि भिण्डि खड्गेन छिण्डि छिण्डि खट्वाङ्गेन विकोधय विकोधय मुसलेन निष्पेषय निष्पेषय पानैः सन्ताटय सन्ताटय रक्षांसि भीषय भीषय भूतानि विद्रावय विद्रावय कूष्माण्ड मारीच वेताल ब्रह्मराक्षसगणान् सन्ताटय सन्ताटय माम् अभयं कुरु कुरु वित्रस्त्वं माम् आश्वासय आश्वासय नरकभयान् माम् उद्धर उद्धर सञ्जीवय सञ्जीवय क्षुत्रुभ्यां माम् आप्यायय आप्यायय दुःखातुरं माम् आनन्दय आनन्दय शिवकवचेन माम् आच्छाटय आच्छाटय मृत्युञ्जय त्र्यम्बक सदाशिव परमशिव नमस्ते नमस्ते प्रभुं प्राणनाथं विभुं विश्वनाथं जगन्नाथनाथं सदानन्दभाजं भवद्भव्यभूतेश्वरं भूतनाथं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे गले रुण्डमालं तनौ सर्पजालं महाकालकालं गणेशादिपालं जटाजूटगङ्गोत्तरङ्गैर्विशेषं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे वटादो निवासं महाट्टहासं महापापनाशं सदा सुप्रकाशं गिरीशं गणेशं सुरेशं महेशं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे गिरीन्द्रात्मजा सङ्गृहीतार्धदेहं गिरौ संस्थितं सर्वतापन्निगेहं परब्रह्म ब्रह्मादिभिर्वन्द्यमानं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे कपालं त्रिशूलं कराभ्यां दधानं पदाम्बोजनं रायकामं ददानं बलिर्वर्धमानं सुरानं प्रदानं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे शरच्चन्द्रगात्रं गणानन्दपात्रं त्रिनेत्रं पवित्रं धनेशस्य मित्रम् अपर्णाकलत्रं सदा सच्चरित्रं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे हरं सर्पहारं पिताभूविहारं भवं वेदसारं सदा निर्विकारम् श्मशाने वसन्तं मनोजं दहन्तं शिवं शङ्करं शम्भुमीशानमीडे स्वयं यः प्रभाते नरः शूलपाने पठेत् स्तोत्ररत्नं त्विह प्राप्य रत्नं सुपुत्रं सुधान्यं सुमित्रं कलत्रं विचित्रैः समाराध्य मोक्षं प्रयाति नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्माङ्गराङ्गाय माहेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय मन्दाकिनी सलिलचन्दनचर्चिताय नन्दीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय मन्दार पुष्प बहुपुष्प सुपूजिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय शिवाय गौरी वदनाब्ज वृंद सूर्याय दक्षाध्वरनाचकाय श्रीनीलकंठाय वृषध्वजाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय वसिष्ठकुम्भोद्भव गौतमाय मुनीन्द्रदेहार्चितशेखराय चन्द्रार्कवैश्वानरलोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय यक्षस्वरूपाय जटाधराय पीनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय दिव्याय देवाय दिगंबराय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय पंचाशतरमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते।
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world.
देवी नित्यानंदेश्वरी पराशक्ति समेत श्री नित्यानंदेश्वर परमशिवा is the offering of the Dravida Vedam. देवदेवोत्तम देवता सार्वभौम अखिलांड कोटि ब्रह्मांड नायक श्री नित्यानंदेश्वरी पराशक्ति समेत श्री नित्यानंदेश्वर परमशिव द्राविड वेद प्रिय द्राविड वेदम अवधारय। शिवा तिरुचित्रंबलम मंदिरमावदि नीरु வானவர் மேலது நீரு சுந்தரமாவது நீரு துடிக்கப்படுவது நீரு தந்திரமாவது நீரு சமயத்தினுள்ளது நீரு செந்துவர் வாயுமை பங்கன் திரு ஆலவாயன் திருநீரு ஆலவாயன் திருநீரு திரு ஆலவாயன் திருநீரு வேதத்தினுள்ளது நீரு வெண்துயர் தீர்ப்பது நீரு போதம் தருவது நீரு உண்மை தவிர்ப்பது நீரு ஓதத் தகுவது நீரு உண்மையிலுள்ளது நீரு சீத புயல்வையில் சூண்ட திரு ஆலவாயன் திருநீரு ஆலவாயன் திருநீரு திரு ஆலவாயன் திருநீரு சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Of the Uttamottama Seva at the feet of Devi Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti Sameta Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva is the offering of the Sangeeta Seva. Deva Devottama Devata Sarvabhauma Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Sri Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Sangeeta Priya Sangeetam Avadharaya. नित्यानंदं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्याभिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं तद्गुरुं तं नमामि. ईश गिरीश नरेश परेश महेश अभिलेषय भूषण भो सांब सदा शिव शंभो शंकर शरणं मे तव चरण युगं शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय उमया दिव्य सुमंगल विग्रहया लिंगित वामांग विभो सांब सदा शिव शंभो शंकर शरण मे तव चरण युगम शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय पूरी कुरु मम यमनादं दूरी कुरु मे दुरितं भो सांब सदा शिव शंभो शंकर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगं शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय ऋषिवर मानस हंस चराचर जनन स्थितिलय कारण भो सांब सदा शिव शंभो शंकर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम् अंतःकरण विशुद्धिं भक्तिं सत्त्वयि सतीं प्रदेहि विभो सांब सदा शिव शंभो शंकर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम् शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय करुणा वरुणालयमयि दासा उदतस्तवोचितो नहि भो सांब सदा शिव शंभो शंकर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम् शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय जय कैलास निवास प्रमथ गणाधीश भूसुरार्चित भो सांब सदा शिव शंभो शंकर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम् शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world.
उत्तम सेवा at the feet of Devi Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva is the offering of the Nritya Seva. Devadevottama Devata Sarvabhauma Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Sri Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Nitya Priya Nityam Avadharaya.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that. I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Seva at the feet of Devi Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva is the offering of the Paramashiva Shakti Avishkarana. Deva Devottama Devata Sarvabhauma Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Sri Nithyanandeshwari Parashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Paramashiva Shakti Avishkarana Priya Paramashiva Shakti Avishkaranam Avadharaya Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya-dilaksyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, I welcome you all to today's Uttamottama Seva and in this segment of the Paramashiva Shakti Avishkarana. My name is Manikya Yoga Pranananda. I'm 14 years old and I'm a Balasant of the Nithyananda Gurukul. And along with me here, I have an extraordinary Balasant. Ma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Nithyanandam. My name is Maniti Brahmayogananda. I'm 13 years old and I'm a Balasant of Nithyananda Gurukul. Today I'm here to manifest the power of consciousness over matter with all of you by the grace of Paramashiva and by him flowing through me.
Yes, beautiful. Yes. As she told, we'll be manifesting the power of consciousness over matter today. But before we begin with the power manifestation, let us begin with a small introduction about the source of all, Paramashiva. Paramashiva is the primordial divinity, the ultimate reality and cause, which is self-effulgent, Swayam Prakasha, all-pervading, unchanging beyond time, space, form, and causality. Today, an incarnation of Paramashiva walks among us in the form of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, initiating millions of disciples all across the globe into this science of power manifestation. So today we'll be manifesting the power of consciousness over matter. As you see, I have a coconut with me. And I'll be placing it in my hand, and I'll be keeping my hand completely straight. And in front of all of you, Ma Brahma Yoga, I'll be connecting to Swamiji and rolling the coconut off my hand. Before we begin the power manifestation, I would like to chant the Shastra Pramana for the power of consciousness over matter. It's from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. क्वचिद् वस्तुनि विन्यस्य शनैर्दृष्टिं निवर्तयेत् तज्ज्ञानं चित्तसहितं देवी शून्यालयो भवेत् क्वचिद् वस्तुनि विन्यस्य शनैर्दृष्टिं निवर्तयेत् तज्ज्ञानं चित्तसहितं देवी शून्यालयो भवेत् क्वचिद् वस्तुनि विन्यस्य शनैर्दृष्टिं निवर्तयेत् तज्ज्ञानं चित्तसहितं देवी शून्यालयो भवेत्. With this beautiful Shastra Pramana, Brahma Yoga will be chanting the Mahavakya, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Mahavakya is the direct passcode which raises us to a higher frequency and immediately connects us to Paramashiva. Let's begin the power manifestation.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Yes, now Ma Brahma Yoga will continue manifesting. She'll continue chanting the Mahavakya.
Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Yes, so Ma Brahma Yoga has manifested, and what has happened here is not just merely Ma Brahma Yoga rolling the coconut of my hand. She has also completed some deep incompletion within me and broken one of my deep root patterns. And before we conclude this power manifestation, I would like to share the Apta Pramana, the scriptural reference of various sages and seers who are before us and who have manifested these extraordinary powers. So the power of consciousness over matter, the Apta Pramana for this power goes back to the time of Dwapar Yuga, when Sri Krishna had taken form. When Sri Krishna was born in prison, his father Vasudeva wanted to take him to his friend Nanda, as in Mathura, King Kamsa was waiting to kill Sri Krishna. And as Vasudeva took Sri Krishna in his hand, he had to cross River Yamuna, and River Yamuna was flooded at that time and there was no way to cross. So he just connected with the divine, and simply the river just parted and gave way for him to walk along with Sri Krishna in his hand. So it is so amazing that all our ancestors have manifested these extraordinary powers just as a day-to-day lifestyle. And that's why Paramashiva has again come down in the form of Swamiji, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, to initiate all of us into these extraordinary powers, so we also start manifesting it as a day-to-day lifestyle. With this, I would like to conclude with this Paramashiva Shakti Avishkarna as well as the Uttamottama Seva. We thank you all for joining us in today's Uttamottama Seva. And please stay tuned for the coming up Nithyananda Satsang. And with this, we offer our gratitude and love at the divine lotus feet of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Thank you, Nithyanandam.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world.
KAILASA, the good God country. Hinduism has something great to offer. Hindu God, Paramashiva, is good. We love him, not just because he gives us what we want, but because he is good, and he has so much to offer to the world that makes the best nation. Hindu God has life positive, all-inclusive, good, spiritual, social, political, and moral principles. Hindu principles are guaranteed solutions for all the major problems of humanity: resettlement, violence and lawfare, impoverishment, inequality, environmental footprint, pandemic and biowar, disputes, feminist movement, women's rights, child rights, minority rights, linguistic rights, human rights. Because Hinduism has the best to offer to the world, KAILASA, standing tall since 1994 for the grand narrative of Hinduism, is the good God's country. Founder of KAILASA, Paramashiva, and his 1008th incarnation, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, is the reviver of KAILASA, the enlightened civilization, the greatest Hindu nation. His Divine Holiness was birthed by his predecessors of enlightened masters, great rishis, munis, siddhas, who predicted and recognized His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, as an incarnation of Paramashiva, as per the science of incarnation described in Hinduism. From his first Chaturmasya at the age of 3 in the year 1980 until the age of 16 in the year 1994, the Supreme Pontiff was trained for the revival of KAILASA. He began reviving KAILASA from the age of 16 after the coronation on the 25th May 1994. KAILASA that we see today is 26 years of sincere hard work of the reviver and Hindu diaspora all over the world. KAILASA has a potential population of 2 billion Hindus worldwide, with over 100 million applications to its citizenship already applied. Hinduism has stood over 10,000 years as an enlightened civilization, has been a global beacon of spiritual and timeless wisdom, technology, culture.
He's wearing a grey jacket. His name is Boris.
The world's ancient civilization produced more than 40% of the world's GDP.
Purpose of life is to experience oneness with the ultimate reality, Paramashiva. Life exists on the planet Earth for last 40 billion years, and 5 times life faced complete extinction on the planet Earth. But somewhere one DNA, one cell, living organism is thrown out of planet Earth, preserved inside a volcano rock. After millions of years comes back to Earth due to gravity or whatever reason, gets into the ocean and starts the life again. Sanatana Hindu Dharma is the conscious science to give breakthrough to your DNA through natural selection process and to your consciousness through the conscious decision process. Sanatana Hindu Dharma is a sacred spiritual science. It is not bunch of do's and don'ts. No. Please understand, it is the revelations of sacred truths, cosmic truths, powerful cognition. It is still alive, that science is available, time-tested, foolproof. This science of living enlightenment is the complete solution for all the problems individual or society or modern day humanity is facing. Then you will understand all the problems of the modern day humanity. Sanatana Hindu Dharma is solution. Whether the terrorism or climate change, natural calamities or man-made calamities, for all the problems humanity is facing, the only solution is science of living enlightenment, revealed by Paramashiva from the Vedagamas in the modern day through this body. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution and setting model communities. Understand? Kailasa is reviving the ancient Hindu enlightened civilization. Paramashiva manifested this Kailasa Mandala, the enlightenment ecosystem and the lifestyle. I am going to revive this whole enlightenment ecosystem, Kailasa, by creating a model Kailasas all over the world. I will work sincerely and revive this spiritual science, which is the core for enlightenment ecosystem, making you all manifest the state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness and Kailasa of Paramashiva, and making all of us manifest Paramashiva.
In a world ravaged by war, ecological destruction, hatred and division, Kailasa stands as a bold vision of human potential, coexistence, organic living, and alignment with nature. Over the past 50 years, the world has seen the creation of dozens of new countries, and so if anything, it would be odd not to see a new country formed in the 21st century. Without the protection of political legitimacy, there is an imminent danger that the great tenets, scriptures, and science of creating an enlightened civilization, which spanned 56 states, 200 kingdoms, 1700 samsthanas, and 10,000 sampradayas, will be forever lost to humanity. The Hindu diaspora are highly successful around the world. They formed the dispossessed diaspora who has been driven to other countries because they are unable to practice their religion authentically in their own country. They have flourished in countries where they have been allowed to settle with religious freedom. For example, in the United States, Hindus are the most educated and highest earning community, with 77% of them holding a bachelor's degree and 48% having an income of $100,000 or more. Although they are only 1% of the population, Hindus have launched 13.5% of the startups in the USA. They hold leadership, technical and creative positions in companies such as Microsoft, Google, Facebook, etc. This success has been repeated around the world, in the UK, Canada, Australia, etc. James Kirkup, in his 2015 Telegraph article, says, British Indians are not just the most successful immigrant group in this country's recent history, but the most successful group of people, full stop. He continues, more extraordinary than the rise in numbers is how it has taken place so harmoniously and profitably for this country and those in it. British Indians, quite simply, are among the most industrious, accomplished, and credible amongst us. The best of British, if you like. The same article says that British Hindus are barely 2% of the population, but 12% of all the doctors. Australia and Canada have understood the ingredients of fast economic growth of the country and are doing everything to attract the educated, rich Hindu community. Hindus are the fastest growing migrant population in Australia. In 2017, 200% more Hindus have received invitation for Canadian Permanent Residency Program. Even now, the Hindu diaspora worldwide are the richest. No divorce, have no cases of drugs and substance abuse, lowest mental disorder, no depression. Hinduism is the only religion which neither converts nor kills. Absolutely non-violent, the elite sect of mankind. Because the Hindu diaspora worldwide and the Supreme Pontiff are successful in spreading their spiritual Hindu message of openness and inclusiveness against the forces of hatred and exclusivity, they have become the victims of relentless attacks by multi-armed apparatus of state power. Anti-Hindu forces, extremist caste, supremacist militant organization want a one ideology, Hinduism, under their exclusive domain. What they cannot digest into themselves, they systematically delegitimize and exterminate. Lawfare, assassination attempts, character assassination of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Attempted assassination and assassinated Kailasians. Sexual assaults and rape of female monks of Kailasa. Objectification. Character assassination. State-funded child abuse and sexual abuse on the children of Kailasa.
Then I told I don't want to see a picture. Then I told I don't want to see a picture. Then they showed me a picture.
State-operated embezzlement of funds, properties and assets donated by the Hindu diaspora worldwide for the purpose of the revival of Kailasa. Since 1994, up to until now. Building a nation is not a project accomplished overnight or by virtue of hope. Kailasa is the manifestation of 26 years of sincere hard work, sacrifices, integrity of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam and the Hindu diaspora worldwide for the past 26 years for the enlightenment of humanity.
I am as old as sun, as new as sunrise. Various incarnations happened, gave a breakthrough to consciousness and gave opening to the next level. My responsibility is to introduce new consciousness which manifests powers of Sadashiva. As Mahamandaleshwar of Mahanirvani Akada, the oldest apex body of Hinduism, I welcome every one of you. I have experienced Sadashiva in his completion, and he has empowered me to transmit that experience to all of you. It's my commitment to all of you. I'll make you experience and manifest Sadashivatva, powers and state and space of Sadashiva. When you manifest powers, naturally the state of Sadashiva and space of Sadashiva starts manifesting in you. More power manifestation, more integrity, more unclutching, more nirvikalpa samadhi, more joy, more restful awareness, more responsibilism, more enriching. more bliss. This tradition has a capacity to retain its authenticity and originality. My purpose is to make this statement to the world. Hinduism is real.
Ideas move from mind to mind. Energy moves from space to space. Cognitions move from body to body. That is why even Sadashiva needs a body. He assumed the body because he needs body to transmit these cognitions to you. Whatever I am doing is reviving the original science as expressed in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, Vedas and Agamas of the Hindu tradition. Given by Sadashiva, received by Devi, adopted by Vishnu to run this universe is Agama. Agamas insist on us serving beyond our frame. Whatever experience, anubhuti I had by my Guru's grace, Atma Pramana, I do acid wash with Shastra Pramana, Apta Pramana, the ancient masters' experiences. Whatever finally stand, I share it with the world as Sakshi Pramana. I welcome everyone for the grand feast of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Let us go on contributing. What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa,
तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलम् अचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. Nithyananda, I offer my humble obeisance, my humble pranam at the divine lotus feet of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. And I'm welcoming all of the viewers who are gathered here today. And as we are preparing for the Nithyananda Satsang and joining us a panel to have the daily Jivartha Sadas and Vakyartha Sadas that we usually do for preparing for the Nithyananda Satsang. And more deeply imbibing the truths with us. Yes, sorry for that technical glitch. I sincerely request and insist that each and every one of you joins us for sharing this link for the satsang in all of the social media platforms, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, in all of the platforms where you are active. And if you're not active, I strongly insist that you can become active. We are so blessed to be able to live at the same time, to be able to be living in the presence, the global presence of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the incarnation of Paramashiva himself. And as his presence itself indicates the end of the era of suffering in its most abject form, let us all celebrate by sharing more and more, enriching more and more the satsang and his words, his message of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the message of Sri Kailasa. For those of you who don't know, Sri Kailasa is the world's only Hindu nation and the enlightened civilizational nation revived. Kailasa is the world's only Hindu nation, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the reviver of Kailasa and the avatar from Hinduism. The sovereign order of Kailasa is a global movement which is the revived order of monks, nuns, and a global Hindu diaspora working towards global peace and the superconscious breakthrough for humanity. Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University is collecting, time capsuling, digitizing, preserving, and in so many ways doing so much to revive the 20 million Hindu source books on various subjects, including Ayurveda, the Hindu medicine, or the Hindu arts, the Shilpa Shastra, or the astrology, Hindu astrology, and many other subjects. His Divine Holiness, or the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is the 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam, or Pontiff of the Kailashonnata Shamala Pita Sarvagna Pitam Madurai Adinam, and he is the incumbent emperor of the Suryavamsa Surangi Samrajyam. His Divine Holiness has survived the most brutal persecution and assassination attempts against his character and himself. But despite this, His Divine Holiness, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has been continuously, day in and day out, dedicatedly working for the superconscious breakthrough and guiding each and every one of us for the superconscious breakthrough, giving us breakthroughs in our daily mundane activities and transforming it 100% into something extraordinary. We can say just over the last year, we know that a total of more than 10,000 people have started to have that superconscious breakthrough, started to manifest Shaktis just through one of the multifarious contributions of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in just the last 1 year. There are over 10,000 people who have participated, who have been initiated into manifesting Shaktis and started manifesting Shaktis in the Paramashivoham program, where we're running in season 20 of the program, and continuously Swamiji is contributing more and more towards that superconscious breakthrough for the whole humanity in the large scale universally, as well in the minute scale for your individual consciousness. I invite each and every one of you who is listening for the first time, who may not know yet about Swamiji, you can start exploring, you can start your own journey to the ultimate space of oneness with Paramashiva, living enlightenment and being able to live in an extraordinary life that so many millions of us are sharing our heartfelt. You can go to and become well averse and start your journey today. I invite you to go to KAILASA Nithyananda YouTube channel, subscribe, and you can start every single day watching the YouTube videos. Once you start, we have heard so many people who, once they started, they have literally had their lives changed and they could not stop their journey. After that, it was history, and literally you can say happily ever after. So many people who have come towards for the inner awakening programs, for Paramashiva programs, how they see Swamiji, how they are introduced is through the over 20,000 hours of discourses, sessions, classes that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has personally conducted in order to guide each and every one and bring us Vedic solutions from the Hindu scriptures on the great, on the typical activities that we'll have and the conflicts which we may have on an everyday basis. Like this, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has initiated and brought change, transformed the lives of millions of people across the world. And you can start your journey today by subscribing to our channel. You can also sign up for your e-passport. Kailasa, the world's only Hindu nation, is today accepting e-citizens and applications for your e-citizenship, and you can get your e-passport and start having available to you the various e-services of being an e-citizen of Kailasa and work towards your superconscious breakthrough, meaning being able to manifest Shaktis, being able to manifest a powerful life, transcending your day-to-day mundane and serious conflicts, transcending the life that you want to go beyond and achieve something extraordinary. So inviting all of the viewers to subscribe to Kailasa's Nithyananda YouTube channel and make available to you over 7,000 videos and a cumulative number of 20,000, over 20,000 hours of Swamiji's delivered discourses, classes, sessions, where he has literally given us the possibility for the ultimate transformation. Today, we are speaking on, going to be in the Jivartha Sadas with our panelists, which are fellow sannyasis of the Nithyananda order. And we will be doing on a very important topic, which many people across the social media, not just Kailasians, but the global Hindu diaspora are speaking on right now. The blissful coexistence. Why we need blissful coexistence at this time, and how Kailasa is forging a world, leading nations across the world and uniting nations across the world for this goal of blissful coexistence. It's truly a really important topic that we are going to be speaking on today. And I'd like to introduce the panelists that we have at hand, Ma Nitya Atmananda Swami and Ma Nitya Jayeshananda and Ma Nitya Vijayeshananda. We will be discussing the need of the hour, which is this very topic of blissful coexistence, how we need it, how Kailasa is the foremost country and ecosystem which is reviving the blissful coexistence and ensuring that we are creating the blissful coexistence, the ecosystem which supports this in more than 108 countries across the world and working towards more and continuously giving to the world and creating those ecosystems where the coexistence among all living beings is promoted and encouraged. So we have a brief presentation that we like to go over some statistics and some facts about the need of the hour for blissful coexistence, and then we will open up the panel and the discussion for all of the panelists, and of course you can comment down below in YouTube, or you can use the hashtag Hindu votes are sacred in Twitter, and you can comment down below in Facebook, and you can participate in this satsang, in this discussion before we are going into the satsang. Swamiji has been continuously insisting on the need for vakyartha sadas, meaning discussing and openly speaking on these topics that we have at hand. Ultimately, it is a very sacred platform that Swamiji has given us in order for each and every one of us to start living what we have identified as our own identity, and what we have declared as our own identity as Kailasians or as Hindus as well, and more deeply imbibe each and one of these topics. So encouraging all of the viewers to comment down below, join the discussions, give your suggestions, your comments, your experiences, and you will see how beneficial that will be as we go more and more. And if you do give your comments and your experiences, we would love to share that here on our platform. We'll be regularly checking the comments that you will be making and reading those out loud, definitely conversing with you and interacting with each and every one of you who participate in the discussion. So take a minute to use the hashtag Hindu votes are sacred during this Vakyartha Sadas as we are going on and we're presenting you the facts, presenting the different opinions and so forth. You can participate in the discussion, and we'd love to hear from you about the topic today, which is blissful coexistence. So with this, let's start with our presentation.
Thank you, Manitya Sadashiva Priyananda, for a beautiful introduction. So, without any further delay, let us go into the topic, Kailasa, the blissful coexistence. So, what is the need for a blissful coexistence? Today, the United Nations Office of Disarmament Affairs reports 14,500 dangerous nuclear weapons which exist on Earth today. Even one of these weapons can destroy a whole city, potentially killing millions, and jeopardize the natural environment and lives of future generations through its long-term catastrophic effects. While only 2 of these nuclear weapons were actually used in 1945 when the United States Army bombed the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. The whole world was devastated to see the extent of violence possible by man made warfare. So 15 to 26 million people participated in the riots in United States in 2020. The United States is considered the most ideal and forward thinking country, but with 20% of the population participating in civil unrest. So, the need for a blissful coexistence. So, $1 billion to $2 billion in loss after the violent damage due to the protests and civil unrest in just 2021. Over 14,000 arrests of people protesting. All these protests were based on racial conflict. So now let us watch a video by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on the need of the non-violence, which is the grand narrative of the Kailasa itself.
If Hinduism is actively enriched, world will become great place. Not only we are a non-violent tradition, we believe in consciousness. We have the science of consciousness, raising the quality of the humanity. We believe in it, we spread it, we live it. We be, live, believe. Let us all understand non-violence need to be actively lived, be lived, believed, and actively enriched. Actively enriched. All I wanted all of you to know what Hindus missed, Sri Kailasa should do. We should tell the whole world. It's not that just last 10 years we are suffering. Last 10 years, our Sangha is personally suffering, but it is 10,000 years of aggression. We are suffering. The false narrative built on Hindus for last almost 10 centuries, 1,000 years. All over the world, the false narrative built about Hindus, especially aggressively last 100 years. After this mass media, communication methods have evolved on planet Earth. Last 100 years, so much of hate speech, atrocity material was generated on Hindus. World. Even though Hindus are successful, richest ethnic community all over the world, they missed telling the whole world right narrative about Hinduism. All the sufferings they went through. That is why still Hindus are being projected as aggressors, even though they suffered the most happened on the planet earth is done on Hindus. Unfortunately, in the dance and Tyaga, we become inactive. Enrich the world actively. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha. Some ahimsa that is the grand narrative of Hinduism. Non-violence is the grand narrative of Hinduism. We need to tell that grand narrative to the whole world. Actively. Actively we need to tell that grand narrative to the whole world. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha. Non-violence does not mean inactive. Mass media, communication methods, entertainment industry, universe systems, through all the human rights organizations, we should reach out to the whole world and tell Ahimsa paramo dharma. Non-violence is the ultimate. And tell the whole world how only suffered, never attacked, neither retaliated. We did the only one mistake, did not enrich the whole world, reach out to the whole world with the real narrative and the real facts. We allowed hate speech and false news and fake narratives. That is why we are suffering. We did not tell the whole world all the great conscious gifts we have for the whole world and why we are being attacked, targeted, so much abuse with hate speech, persecution, murders, assassinations, genocide in every level. Sri Kailasa is revived to tell these truths to the world.
This is the need. Like, why the ahimsa has to be the base, with the basic lifestyle of Sri Kailasa itself. So on this further presentation, we will be seeing some major statistics why the Sri Kailasa is the basic of the blissful coexistence, and why we need a place, why we need a nation with the
Yes, ma'am.
sorry for the technical glitch.
Yes. I'd like to add on here. What we're going to be seeing in the presentation today is a few of the ways how Kailasa has become a leader. He is a leader, and how Swamiji has forged a way for Hindus across the world to recognize how Hinduism is foremost in establishing an ecosystem with blissful coexistence, and through different ways has established that as a truth, and without hypocrisies, having the best methodologies to create that ecosystem of blissful coexistence. One of the ways that we will be presenting about is how gender equality is not a new concept according to Western feminism or the Western world. Many people see the gender equality as a phenomenon which is recently accepted by many people. However, in the Vedic civilization, in Hindu civilization, we have been practicing the women empowerment, the gender equality for thousands of years. It's a basic law in our shastras itself, which dates back more than 60,000 years. And we'll also be seeing how goshalas are a basis for the of course, coexistence with all living beings, not just human beings, but all living beings, all animals and ecosystems, the environment, and the globe, the earth, the water, the land, which we are continuously interacting with and relating with on a day-to-day basis. All of these different aspects comes from a basis of the principle, foundational principle of Hinduism, which is non-violence. From there stems the whole idea of blissful coexistence, the whole beautiful way that different streams of sampradayas, different huge sampradayas and traditions, people who are stemming from different lineages, all coexist together, because we see each and every one as from this foundational core principle of non-violence. With that ahimsa as the basis, we interact, we keep that as the core principle of at hand as we create and we revive the Hindu ecosystems all over the world. Swamiji has continuously been an advocate and a living example of how to live with non-violence in his own life, and how transcending all of the attacks against him, he has stood with non-violence and ultimately won the whole game and successfully revived Kailasa. Now that's the gist of what we'll be seeing and discussing over the presentation. And for our discussion today, I invite Majesha and Vijayeshananda to continue with the presentation, and we will be able to understand more and more about today's topic of blissful coexistence.
Thank you, Ma Sadashivapriya. One thing related to why we need blissful coexistence today is mainly because in today's world, we have been enveloped by darkness of wars, gun shooting, rapid extinction of species, deteriorating health and mental life, pollution, and much more. Because of our own doing, the whole world is moving towards the pathway of utter violence, and these are the few evidence from the UN official itself. Crime kills far more people than armed conflicts. In 2017, almost 500,000 people across the world were killed. 500,000 people across the world were killed in homicides, far surpassing the 89,000 killed in active armed conflicts and 19,000 killed in terrorist attacks. If homicide rates keep climbing at the current rate of 4%, then Sustainable Development Goals 16, which includes a target to significantly reduce all forms of violence and related death rates everywhere, will not be met by 2030. And relating to the species, the natural species, animals, and plants, the average abundance of native species in most major land-based habitat has fallen by at least 20%, mostly since 1900. More than 40% of amphibian species, almost 33% of reef-forming corals, and more than a third insect species, but available evidence supports a tentative estimate of 10% being threatened. At least 680 vertebrate species had been driven to extinction since the 16th century, and more than 9% of all domesticated breeds of mammals used for food and agriculture had become extinct by 2016, with at least 1,000 more breeds still threatened. And these are just a little evidence, few evidence, which screams why we need blissful coexistence. And we'll be presenting a few more evidence on why we are in dire need of blissful coexistence.
Especially in this rapid changing world that we live in today, the need for a blissful coexistence, not only among humans but also among animals, is a big requirement. We're just going to be presenting a couple of statistics for all of you to understand the need of Kailasa, the need for Kailasa.
Okay, so in today's 21st century, conflicts have increased sharply since 2010. And here you can see a lot of peaks and battle-related deaths, terrorist causalities has steadily increased from 1989 to 2013. You can see how it's still increasing and there's no sign for it to stop or decreasing. In 2015, the number of ongoing conflicts increased to 50 compared to 41 in 2014.
With a lot of people suffering around the world, with wars breaking out from different places, is resulting in most people to be forcefully displaced from their country. If you can see, the figures are showing a steady increase from 1950. By the end of 2015, 59.5 million people were forcibly displaced, with 19.5 million refugees. This is mainly due to wars that are breaking out in many countries, and wars which are still happening today, right now at this very moment, where people are living in fear for them or not. This is what is happening around the world. And not only that, interpersonal violence and gang violence kills much more people than political violence. 500,000 people are killed by interpersonal violence each year. That's about 1,300 people a day, and 9 times the number of lives lost in open warfare. Interpersonal violence and political violence tend to be increasing interrelated, particularly when institutions are weak and social norms have been tolerant of violence.
Interpersonal violence seems to be declining but remains very high in some regions. So you can see the homicides rate in Central America, how steadily it's increasing from 2000 to 2011. Gender-based violence remains very high with negative consequences for both societies and economics. And this has been one of the most talked about and reported about topic for a decade now, or it's been going on for a very long time. 1 in 3 women in the world have experienced physical or sexual violence, mostly by an intimate person.
This is statistics from the World Health Organization itself. 2 in 3 victims of intimate partner family-related homicides are women, according to the United Nations Statistics Division, the World's Women 2015. It is estimated that close to 90% of current war casualties are civilians, the majority of whom are women and children, compared to a century ago when 90% of those who lost their lives were military personnel. Understanding that now wars have come far away from just military people fighting the battles. Now it has come right to the doorstep. There are many countries that are going through wars, and many people, many children losing families, choosing lives, losing parents, all because of these wars.
UN also reports saying that for women and girls, the home remains the most dangerous place. Some 58% of female homicides were carried out by intimate partners or family members in 2017. Women bear the heaviest burden of lethal victimization, often as a result of misogynistic beliefs, inequality, and dependency, which persist globally, especially in low-income countries. So you can see the ongoing problems and events that is stemming from the sole cause of just violence. And here in Kailasa, beautifully Swamiji says that we all should be living in this blissful coexistence, in this harmony where we don't have any negative emotions like violence or anger. In fact, it's a law in Kailasa that none of us should be having the emotion relating anything to anger. We need to immediately drop it and complete with it. And Swamiji also said very sternly that there is no justifications for any Kailasavasis to feel angry. And that is the kind of lifestyle we all are living. And understand every single evidence that we read out to you. If you can just break it down, if you get into the logistics, you can see that it all boils down to this one root cause of just violence. Because of this base foundation of violence, it is building up to lots of wars, gun shooting, violence against women, the species deteriorating, health, mental life, everything, the whole environment going down. It's all because of this violence.
And we still live in a world where poverty still exists, with people still suffering to get food to their plates. And yet, these wars are costing countries extremely, resulting in countries focusing all their resources in overcoming these wars rather than helping the civilians that really require help. Many countries and subnational areas are now facing cycles of repeated violence, weak governance, and instability.
90% of the last decade's civil wars occurred in the countries that had already had civil wars in the last 30 years.
The aggregate economic and financial cost of conflict in 2014 was estimated to be $14.3 billion, or 13.4% of the global economy.
More than half of all states affected by ongoing conflicts are also affected by protracted arms conflicts persisting for more than 10 years.
And it is not just limited to one country. Many of these conflicts tend to cross borders. Starting in one small place, it ends up traveling to different places, affecting not just a small part of the population, but actually a very, very large part. In fact, this is the hard truth of today. There are many people who are suffering across the world, not being able to point out and explain and tell people what is really happening to them. Many of us know that there are wars that are still happening. And many of us know that there is a lot that we can do to help. And that is exactly why we need Kailasa. Where, like Master Shivapriya just said, the principle of Kailasa is Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Non-violence is actually the cosmic law. In fact, at times like this, especially when violence has been traveling borders and crossing nations, going to your own doorstep, imagine the problems that the future generation will be facing. Many children today are born into a world where only violence is predominant. They're born to shootings and gunshots and knowing that tomorrow does not exist, that there is no guarantee for tomorrow.
They are forcibly pulled into the lifestyle of wars and gun shooting, and the lifestyle of how a terrorist lives is what they have been conditioned to.
There are many documentaries on YouTube. If you watch, you will see what it is like to live in a country where war is happening next door. If you see, these children are denied the right to a childhood because all they know is the sound of gunshot and know that they have to run and save their lives.
And it's not just that, the way Swamiji grooms.
I'd also like to add here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, I think there's a little bit of an audio delay. audio delay as well. I also wanted to add to what Majesha and Jesha are really coherently presenting. That is not just somewhere off in mother place where the violence is brought in and in such a harsh way and people violence is a reality. The getting that cognition, Swamiji has gone to the extent of protecting anti-Hindu elements have continuously been continuously attacking against the children and women of Kailasa, the children and women, the adolescents and the women sannyasis of the order and sovereign order of Kailasa. It is actually important to see how most people adopted many degrees of violence, torture, of so many degrees of extreme violence. Because of this, we should see how Swamiji is literally, despite all the attacks against him, against the sannyasis, and against the women of Kailasa, still standing foremost, non-violence, the most strategy of the world, the more violence. Kailasa, Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is leading at the foremost, leading in the front lines against violence in its true form.
I was facing a small technical glitch. She'll be right back. But before we move on to the presentation of the slides, to set further context on why exactly we need Kailasa, we would like to elaborate a bit more on the violence that is being faced by many people across the world. It is not just people across the world or people on the other side of the world. In fact, it happens to people that is just around you, to your family, your friends. You would have known what it's like. It said that 1 in 3 women face harassment every day. Now just take the percentage of women in the world and there you have an answer of what exactly it is like to be scared, walking on the street, having to constantly look back, walking and knowing that your life may be under threat. We all know that violence against women and children are on the highest peak in this generation. We are taught to stay at home after a certain time. We are taught not to go out of the house or go with people who are considered to be, who are the only ones who can protect you. But times have gotten so bad that even those that are sworn to protect you, in fact, it is almost gone to to an extent where we cannot even trust anybody, not a person that's a friend, a family member. Violence has become so common among the world that it is actually very easy to talk about. No, violence is almost like a disease. It's just spreading in all the fields of life, from plants to animals to people to your own family, your friends. It just keeps going on and on. The reason why in Kailasa we follow this rule of no anger, nobody should get angry, or even if they do, they should immediately drop it and complete, because there is no justification for you to feel angry. It's all an illusion, it's all a maya. In the end, you're harming yourself and you're harming others. That is always the end result. Even though you feel like you have all the right to feel angry for a certain situation, in the end it boils down to you just harming yourself and others. That is all. There is no real justification for you to feel angry at all. And that kind of a powerful cognition has been ingrained in us by none other than His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan, each and every day, saying the same thing in different ways, just so we can come to terms about what real life is, and we don't get pulled back into what is really happening in the outer world, right? If you see in the US, few years ago, or it's still continuing if I'm not wrong, kids, teenagers, age 14, 15, they all take up guns and they all take up guns and just go on a mass shooting. They don't care their lives and their teachers, friends, family. They just go on shooting. What kind of an emotion can take over a person where they go to a level of just shooting their beloved, right? That is a serious issue, and it kept happening. And Swamiji beautifully says about mirroring of neurons, the environment you are in, the surrounding that you are in, the way you've been brought up really matters, because your neurons get immediately mirrored. All the Balasins are living here under the guidance of Swamiji. Their neurons are getting mirrored directly to Paramashiva's neurons. We are able to manifest powers. We are able to grasp those subtle truths, those subtle, powerful cognitions Swamiji is always telling to us in Satsang. So we evolve ourselves and go beyond what really grounds people in today's world: violence, anger, anxiety, depression. And these words have no meaning to us, because we've been taught and it's been proven just in Gurukul that these are just Maya, this is just illusion. You feel this to just harm yourself and you harm others. And this kind of a powerful cognition has been taught to us from a very young age and has been ingrained in us. So everything that we operate from this powerful cognition. Being this base foundation, each and every Balasint is evolving to the level of becoming Paramashiva themselves. And that is the main reason. That is also one of the reasons why blissful coexistence is needed. Why Kailasa is really needed.
There are many, many, many contributing factors as to why violence is increasing among teenagers or youth in today's world. Media and drugs play a very, very important role in violence of this society. Our society becomes more and more violent and dangerous day by day. It's a scary world for our children, because every third or fourth teenager knows someone who's been shot, someone who's been inflicting pain upon themselves, someone who is known for their anger, someone who is actually from a domestic abuse family. And on the local news programs constantly report violent episodes in poor neighborhoods with increasing frequency, while consciously or otherwise, consumers see the society as violent and scary. Understand the movies of this era, the video games that your children play, or the TV programs that they watch. All of this have a different kind of violence. But in the end of the day, this is what is irking something within them. Many, many video games are full of violence. And kids start playing that around the age of 5, 4. They're into these games.
Majority of the video games comprises of you shooting a person or taking a person's life and you getting points. And 90% of the video games, it's safe to say that 90% of the video games in today's world comprises only of violence, bloodshed, death, and exposed to a very negative lifestyle, a lifestyle that no parent would want their kids to live. And that kind of a game is what kids less and understand each and everything, like video games, movies, and the surrounding, the environment you are in, are a contributing factor to how your kid will turn out to be in the future.
But the only thing is that we are not understanding that. We are not understanding what our generation is doing. Many parents turn a blind eye to what the kids are watching, what the kids are playing, not realizing that this could be a cause for growing a child up filled with violence, being constantly exposed to nature such as that. This is resulting in kids taking rash decisions. If they get angry, they don't know how to contain the anger, resulting in mass shootings in school, all because they're angry against one teacher. This is one part of the spectrum. Now, another part says that according to the World Health Organization, every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted in America. 1 in 6 women and 1 in 33 men will experience sexual assault in their lifetime. The US Department of Justice states that nearly 250,000 sexual assaults occurs each year.
And understand, no matter how much we run away from this reality, in the end, it's going to chase us back. It's time that we put a full stern stop to it, and we take responsibility in our hands to change this whole thing to a different lifestyle, right? You would not want your children to be a mass murderer in the future, or you would not want your children to take a gun and shoot people. And that is exactly where the world is heading right now. Looking at the news, looking at the articles, everywhere you look, at least there's one news report on how the women are not safe, or children are not safe, or boys are starting up this mass shooting and murdering kids or teachers in the age of just 15.
What is scary is that it's not even the reported crimes, it's the crimes that go unreported. Only 20% of the crimes of violence actually get reported. In remote villages, even things like this do not get reported to the police. And that is exactly why we need to highlight the need for KAILASA. And with our panelists on our segment today, we'd request Atma Swami to take over and go ahead with the presentation to set a further context for all you viewers on why exactly we need KAILASA. Why do we need to blissfully coexist with one another to have the most harmonious and most perfect existence and relationship we can ever have?
Yes. So when the whole world is violence, how we can live actively through the blissful coexistence. So let us get into the presentation. How to live an active lifestyle with the ahimsa paramo dharma. So non-violent ahimsa, established in ahimsa, you will actively practice ahimsa and enrich everyone to live ahimsa. You will create an ecosystem where ahimsa can be practiced with integrity. So Swamiji says, strength is intelligent way of existing. Strength is not violence. Strength is not terrorism. Strength is not conversion. Understand, neither by conversion nor by terrorism, any religion is going to survive in the future. Future of the religions is not going to be dedicated by their capacity of conversion or terrorism. So ahimsa, non-violence, should be practiced actively, should be told to the world with the right narrative. How even after being abused, maintain non and ahimsa because we believe in it. Ahimsa paramo dharma. This is the grand narrative of Hinduism. We need to tell that grand narrative to the whole world actively. Ahimsa paramo dharma. Non-violent inactivism through every mass media communication methods, entertainment industry, as Ma Jayesha Vishesha was telling, how it has such a, the way kids playing, even those games, even those playful methods also has such a violence. So the universities, education systems, through United Nations, through all the human rights organizations, we should reach out to the whole world and tell the grand narrative of Hinduism is ahimsa paramo dharma. Non-violence is ultimate value. How does this non-violence, ahimsa paramo dharma, contributes to the quality in Vedic civilization? The marriage only if she has been properly trained as a brahmachari who vows to live the path of truth, practicing spiritual celibacy, non-violence, and living with minimal things. This demonstrates the great Hindu ideology of placing women as well-respected, educated, and given the freedom to practice the highest lifestyle. These very ideologies were systematically abolished by the foreign invaders when they destroyed the whole structure of Hindus when they invaded on Bharat. Gender equality in Vedic civilization. So in Vedic times, women also were great poets composing sacred hymns. Among the great Hindu women who were come across as advanced spiritual scholars, including Sita, Sulabha, Maitreya, Vadava, Prathaiteyi, Gargi, to name a few. Their names are recommended every day to remember in the Hindu life. Just like men, women were practicing spiritual Hindu life who were adept and educated in the highest knowledge system, the Vedas and Agamas, the revealed Hindu scriptures, and the Vedic rituals such as the sacred fire sacrifices. In Vedic times, in ruling families, the girl child would also receive military and administrative training besides normal education. Often, they would rule and by them passed away or captured by enemy kings or as regent queens in case the crown prince was a minor. Throughout its Puranic nature, the scriptures in travel logs of Chinese travelers such as Hui San, many street Rajya are referenced. Maratha history is replete with examples of strong women such as Ahilya-bhai, Tara-bhai, Manikarnika, Jija-bhai, Radha-bhai, who played a strong role in affairs of kingdoms of the Maratha rulers. So during the recent decades, India has been seen as a primitive civilization when it comes to protecting and nurturing its female population. These discriminatory practices against women are often attributed to Hinduism and its tenets. Massacred and mistranslated Hindu scriptures such as the Manusmriti are misused to portray Sanatana Hinduism as having an inferior view of women. Practices such as sati, dowry, child marriage, female foeticide, and numerous similar narrow-minded practices are falsely portrayed as a direct product of Hindu throughout and philosophy. Today, there is no place where there is any social, religious, spiritual, judicial, political, economic legitimacy to uphold the Hindu sacred sentiments of worshipping of supreme divinity in the form of cosmic mother. For the crimes of the caste supremacist terrorist against Rudra Kanya community, why should the Rudra Kanyas suffer? They have done no harm to anybody. They in fact have provided tremendous stability to the society. They are an integral part of temple worship, devotional dance and singing, keeping the whole Hinduism alive in all its glory. In Nithyananda Sampradaya, a tradition, they are the core of the spiritual and social fabric. They cook and serve free organic food, offer spiritual healing, help people by providing spiritual counseling, teach meditation and yoga, manifest extraordinary powers and powerful cognitions, which is from the basis of progressive society. They manifest powers as the living spiritual proof of the authenticity of powerful
What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
As we're discussing this extremely crucial topic, which I think all of us, and especially is most relevant to us female sannyasis, and as we're discussing gender equality in the Vedic civilization and how Kailasa has been a leading advocate of gender equality and bringing back the right for women to take up sannyas and women to start the original, have that role that they had in the Vedic civilization. Once again, I want to invite all of the viewers again to participate in the discussion at hand. You can comment down below or tweet with the hashtag Hindu votes are sacred, and at Sri Nithyananda, you can use Swamiji's, the official Nithyananda Twitter handle, and respond to that Twitter handle in order to join the discussion now that we're having. And it is something which is extremely important as we are discussing the topic of blissful coexistence. And if you may be wondering, what does this have to do with blissful coexistence? Especially in the world today, we are seeing, and the facts that Jayesha and Vijayesha had presented just previously, the gender-based violence is increasing in society more and more. The UN has written many reports on how continuously the gender-based violence has been increasing, how there's so many different types of conflicts which end up really influencing women in society more so than anybody else. We're seeing that in so many different levels, women are the ones who suffer, who go through more than comparatively to their counterparts, whether it is in employment, whether it is in poverty or hunger or anything, or the health, everything. Women are generally more impacted in negative way than men. And until now, in the agrarian society that we are living in, this has been what we have seen in a very statistical manner. And in fact, so much so that today there are so many movements, organizations, non-profit organizations, and governmental movements as well, which are advocating for gender equality. We're seeing this across the board, and so many different organizations are doing so. However, we should be extremely aware, and our Hindus should be very vocal in the fact that we have been advocating, not just advocating, living gender equality and feminine empowerment for thousands of years. It's integral in our Hindu scriptures, and if at all we are being extremely falsely portrayed, as Mahatma Swami had presented in the slides, the different practices in Hinduism, different by the foreign invaders, and which are misinterpreted, and portrayed in an extremely abhorrent and false manner, are associated with Hinduism and made as if Hinduism has inherent flaws, which is absolute crime against Hinduism. We Hindus have to be extremely vocal when we are speaking on the inherent beauties of Hinduism, the inherent extremely beautiful principles that we have been living. The Hindu woman plays a very strong role in society, and not throughout her life, in different stages of her life, whether as a child or as a maiden, a young maiden, or as a married woman, or as a widow. Every single stage as a potential for the Divine Mother, or the mother of the whole cosmos, or the destroyer of all negative forces. The woman is seen, respected, and literally sung in Hinduism, in Hindu Shastras, from the time of our ancient rishis until today, by the well-respected rishis and acharyas of the Hindu society, as the very potential, the very mother of the whole cosmos, embodiments of mother. And there are Shastras in Devi Purana is been worshipping the considered worshiping women. This is how Hinduism, Kailasa, has been demonstrating blissful coexistence, where in society today we are seeing so much of gender-based violence, so much of discrimination against women, and in so many different ways, the different intersectional violence against women. In Hinduism and Kailasa, we advocate, and we're living literally the Hinduism. We're living in Hinduism. We are living the gender equality, and not only that, but feminine empowerment in its true form, and really empowering women in the most beneficial way. And not only that, we are seeing that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism advocating and reviving this original ways of feminine empowerment, and as a practitioner of the Shakta Sampradaya himself, has, since the time that he had started the advent on planet Earth, has since the time of his public life, and since the time that he had begun organizing the whole revival of Kailasa in 1994. Since that time, he has been advocating, as a part of the whole revival of Kailasa, the revival of the Shakta Sampradaya of worship of the Divine Feminine, and empowering women, empowering the Divine Feminine consciousness, and awakening of Divine Feminine in every single woman, not only in women, but in men also, respecting and worshipping that aspect of Divine Mother in all living beings. This is a basic, fundamental aspect of Hinduism that Swamiji has been continuously reviving, speaking on, and in so many different ways has been contributing to the whole world. And through making a beautiful ecosystem where women are protected, encouraged, nurtured in order to achieve the highest goal in life, enlightenment, living enlightenment, to the superconscious breakthrough, by giving this opportunity for women, despite so many attacks, just for the fact that he is initiating and reviving the the different orders of sannyas for women, despite being attacked for doing so, he has continued to create that ecosystem for encouraging women and continuously providing that environment for each and every one of us to have that superconscious breakthrough. We should really understand the value in that and see how and I hope each and every one of the viewers understand how rare it is that that we are given the opportunity to be initiated into manifesting Shaktis, into these higher powers, and not only that, given an environment in order to manifest our lifestyle, in order to start living an enlightenment for women. Here, I'd like to give the extremely important example of the Yogini Sarvagna Pitam, which His Divine Holiness, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, in a bold vision to create the Yogini Sarvagna Pitam, the place, an ecosystem where women can have a beautiful place and space in order to be initiated into sannyas, in order to practice lifestyle as yoginis, and in order to manifest shaktis, help and aid the world and empower women just like them in the same path, and start living a beautiful life, an extraordinary life based on the core Hindu principles. We should understand Kailasa was standing for a ecosystem being revived for Hindu women in particular to be empowered and to live this beautiful lifestyle. Yet by anti-Hindu forces, it has been literally destroyed. And further, the opportunity that was there, the environment that was there, we have seen is extremely vulnerable, especially for Hindu women sannyasis, and of course the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who is the one who has advocated for women sannyasis to and provided a beautiful environment for each and every one of us to be able to live this lifestyle. The Yogini Sarvagna Pitam is the foremost example of how in a extremely violent community, the anti-Hindus are working against, literally destroying the Hindu environment. Very known, at least in the very least, it is making it very known what the need for Kailasa is. Understand, this was an ecosystem where blissful coexistence was in its most prime nature, was being revived through the ecosystem that was there, yet the anti-Hindus had literally destroyed, and not only that, made it almost extremely dangerous to continue living forth in that same way. Therefore, there was so many attacks literally to women sannyasis who were initiated by Swamiji, were arrested illegally for no reason and with no evidence in court, with absolutely no evidence, and they were attacked in broad daylight, and so many children were literally, the rights of children were violated to the extent, and the hundreds upon hundreds of efforts that Swamiji has put in order to protect, revive, and empower women and children was destroyed just like that by anti-Hindus. Why I'm bringing this up is in order to emphasize for all of our viewers why Kailasa is needed, why a nation is needed for protecting women and children, Hindu women and children, and empowering them to their highest possibility, their highest role in society as Rudrakanyas or as Nitya Sumangalis, as the Kumaris, as literally princesses, and empowering to their highest role. That is the ultimate vision Swamiji had and has for women and for the orders which he is reviving of female sannyasis, of rudrakanyas, of yoginis, of rishikas, of even married women. Yet in today's world, we have seen how anti-Hindus have literally sought out to destroy this in such a violent and most rupturous manner. This is the need for Kailasa literally staring us blankly in the face. We should not at all take this lightly. It's been more than about a year and a half, going on a year and a half of since the attacks against Yogini Sarvagnapeetam, and Swamiji has never stopped the revival of Kailasa despite these attacks against. In fact, he has only put in more and more of his energy, his time, and is now focusing on that the revival of Kailasa, just so that the efforts that the revival into these ancient orders of women sannyasis, of the ancient yogini sampradayas, each of these are protected and are able to live in coexistence with the whole world. Now, let's understand that this is the core of this concept of blissful coexistence. We are trying to preach in Western world. I've lived there, and we are continuously trying to preach about gender equality. But in Hinduism, we are seeing it as a fundamental principle for society, a fundamental principle of living itself. But in Kailasa, this is what Swamiji is advocating foremost as a basic principle of our living and our lifestyle. And this is why we need to revive Kailasa, why we need to emphasize the need, as we are speaking about enriching the whole world, about Kailasa, we need to emphasize the need of a place where women and these ancient orders of women sannyasis and these ancient orders are protected, empowered to live in their highest ideal. And this is what I wanted to say about the gender equality in the Vedic civilization, how that is going forward, how that is contributing towards this concept of blissful coexistence. And as a woman, sannyasi myself, someone who Swamiji had, as a part of the orders that Swamiji has revived, I myself can, as a testament to all of which Swamiji has done, it is the most blissful opportunity for each and every one of us to take. And ultimately, we have to recognize how important it is for our daily lives and for the future of our world in the next generations. I'd like to open up this discussion to Majesha, Vijesha, Mahatma Swami, as female sannyasis. Every one of us actually should be very cognizant and of what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing for the revival of female orders of Hinduism, and how Kailasa is needed for advocating this concept of blissful coexistence, which is not just a concept, of course, it's a living principle.
Like my Sadashiva Priya said, thank you actually for inviting us back on the panel. I feel like the reason as to why Swamiji is doing a lot to revive, especially Kailasa. Number one, empowering women has been something that Swamiji has been focusing on from day one. In fact, I feel like after I joined Gurukul is the only time I have seen or done Abhishekam in a temple. Something not quite often that I've heard of. Being women ourselves, I've never even heard of a woman being able to perform a ritual. We'd even go into a Garba Mandir. These are some things that has always been forbidden if you're born as a lady. But Swamiji has very, very clearly and with so much hard work revived it all for everyone to come and enjoy. For every woman to be empowered to realize the true potential of what they truly are. That they are more than a mother, a daughter, a wife, what society normally puts on a woman. They are much more than that. That they can actually be a leader without being judged. That they can actually be able to perform rituals without again being judged. That they can be powerful like all the other women warriors that Hinduism has actually given birth to. This empowerment is only solely done by Swamiji continuously by letting us all realize our true potential. And this is something that of such rarity that I've seen only after coming to the Adinam, being able to perform rituals, being women.
We would like to read out few comments. Oceans in Space said that the woman thing is so sad in today's world, and also said that, can I be anti-male? This is so depressing. I try and frame it better. If that's true, Kailasa is utopia. Well, Ocean in Space, we're glad that you are able to understand the reality of what the women are facing in today's world, because no matter how much is voiced out and no matter how much the women protest to get the freedom that they want, it's always brutally grabbed from them, and never the whole authentic experience of living the actual life has been given to any woman in today's world. No matter how much we portray ourselves to be the liberals and how much we portray ourselves to be it's a free world and women can do whatever they want, deep inside there is this thick chain holding women back. It's almost like we have evolved to understand that there are certain things that we cannot cross our borders and we cannot cross our limits because we know what the consequences are going to be, right? We have become a certain way. We have conditioned ourselves over the years on what all persecution has happened personally to women, and today's world we try to hide that fact and we do what we can do the best to
We
try
have
being
learned
happy.
to accept it.
Yes, unfortunately. And Kailasa is not like that. It's not like any other country. And this, the previously what I just said, applies to each and every country in today's world. And I encourage all the women to go and take on to the social media platform and voice out what you truly feel being a woman in today's era, today's world. Even though the freedom, the so-called freedom has been given to women and we are able to do the things that women couldn't do so many years ago, even though we have come a long way, I would not say no. We have come a long way, but we haven't come all the way. And I feel like this is the best we can go forward and we cannot go more than that. And why we really need Kailasa is because that kind of the imaginary condition that the world is going through and world has already gone through has completely broken in Kailasa. Women are able to do everything. In fact, have you seen the deities, the female deities in Hinduism? Kali, Parvati, Sita, such strong characters, right? They set such great inspiration. Swamiji beautifully says, Shiva without Parvati is basically Shava. The female component is cherished and loved in Hinduism. And because of the female component, life itself is life happens, and that kind of a cognition is what we all have, and that is the core principle we all have. Even if you see in Hinduism, before the girl child matures, people actually do puja. We have something called Kumari Puja, Sumangali Puja. We worship the mother component. We worship the female component in each and every girl child. And that is how we cherish the female consciousness in all of us. And Kailasa is the only place reviving that authentic tradition that was practiced once upon a time when Hinduism was up and functioning 5,000 years ago. And why we need Kailasa is because that equality can be given to the gender, and at the same time we are able to experience this one dimension that I assure you, you will not experience in any other country but except Kailasa.
We also have another user who has commented on YouTube. J. Dasondi has said, how to make kids realize it if we too much indulge in it and don't want to leave playing games. We actually really thank all of you for actually joining us on this discussion. Even asking these questions are just making it more interactive, trying to put your opinion out there. We are so happy to actually have you all be a part of this, to be able to voice out your thoughts. We are providing all you Hindus a platform. Today, come and speak out, because it is only up to you to make a change, and we are actually giving. Kailasa is providing all of you a beautiful platform to be able to come and voice out your thoughts. Be completely free and let us know what you're thinking. Come and join us in this discussion, because you are all the more welcome to come and be a part of this beautiful discussion that is happening just before our most awaited session with none other than Bhagavan himself, right? So again, our viewer has asked how to make kids realize it if he's too much indulged in it and don't want to leave playing games. Understand, it is only society that is actually, first of all, getting children into playing games. Standardizing and labeling it as school is what is getting them into it in the first place. In Gurukul, Balasans are brought up in the most of powerful ways, by filling them with powerful cognitions and continuously making them manifest powers and initiating them. The diversion that most kids require, the boredom that most kids feel, has not become a part of the daily life. Once a child is completely packed and filled with these powerful cognition and told them that this is what life is, they will naturally leave all these addictions that they have to all the wrong things. And just an initiation from Swamiji is all that is required for them to be able to drop everything and get into the right path.
And I would not compare power manifestation to video games, because the standard is just too, the stark difference between power manifestation and playing video games, killing people, is just too much. Because understand, if you're going to be approaching your child saying that, do you want to manifest powers that you have seen in movies like X-Men and Spider-Man, and you want to levitate, you want to fly, do you want to teleport yourself to a different planet, or do you want to play a game where you end up shooting 500 people and get 500 points and you feel proud about yourself? What would the kid possibly choose, right? That is literally the standard. I would not be comparing power manifestation to playing video games, because it's too low. And understand, if you're going to be conditioning your kid into playing these bloodshed video games, he is bound to become that. Even though he's going to turn out to a good child or a bad child, that aspect in him is there. It's been installed that, okay, this is how death happens, this is how that kind of excitement will be incited in him, right? And anything in his life that he moves forward with, or anything that as he grows up and lives his life, something can be the trigger point to what he has played before, for him to enact the exact same thing in the video game that he played in his childhood.
It just makes them more angry. Being exposed to violent games just triggers more anger within them. In fact, when situations come in hand, they don't know how exactly to react, rather than act what they have seen before. Because that is what most children tend to do. They tend to replicate what they watch, right? In Gurukul, when you actually come and when you see more and more kids being able to reverberate and express these powerful cognitions in the form of powers, what happens is that you start mirroring their neurons. Even if you came as an angry child before, when you are in the space of a person who is in much more completion, you will naturally start reverberating that. You will start mirroring that. And in fact, you will start becoming that. That is exactly why it is very important for children to be living with the Guru from the age of 7 and to be in the presence of the Guru, because then they start mirroring all the cognitions, all the powerful cognitions and the powers that the guru is initiating them into.
And it's not just that. For all you know, your kid doesn't really like killing people in video games, you know. It's because there's societal pressure that when he goes to school, there are like 50 kids playing the game and talking about the game. Of course, he's going to feel pressurized to play. He doesn't want to be the one to be out of the whole group, right? If I'll be put in a position where 50 people are talking about a certain game and I like it or not, that just doesn't matter. The fact that they are all playing, I'll feel the need to play it. I like it or not, doesn't matter. So understand, it's a societal condition, and kids are not into violence. It is the condition that has been imposed on them forcibly to like these such games in a very young age, right? So if you're going to be exposing your child in an environment where only peace and law of no anger is followed, of course he's going to be following that, and of course he's going to be manifesting extraordinary powers. And Space Connection has said beautifully, I have received 3 powers after getting the vision of Swamiji: the power that gives divine powers to mankind. Swamiji has immense divine powers. To this day, I continue to use those powers. Understand, what we have are Shaktis.
That is actually a very beautiful sharing from our viewer, actually. Which is actually very true, because being Balasins, any power Bhagavan has initiated all of us into, we continue to use it till today. Be it losing an item or not knowing a solution to your math equation. We turn to the only thing that we know best, Swamiji. By manifesting these powers, we actually get ourselves into an elevated consciousness. In fact, by doing it every day, you start realizing that you are that you are at a higher consciousness, that you are Paramashiva himself. And once that cognition settles within you, you know you will not settle for anything less.
So exactly like Space Connection was saying, Swamiji has immense divine power, and Space Connection says that to this day, I continue to use those powers. Understand, when Swamiji initiates us into the power of third eye, the minute he initiates us through, it can be through words, it can be through mantras, it can be through look, in either 3 of those, if he just initiates us, right, your third eye is completely awakened. And for people who have no idea about what third eye is, it's an intra organ that is placed between your eyebrows, right in the middle, and it's an intra organ. You will not be able to see it. The minute that gets awakened, you are open to manifesting 463 plus powers of Paramashiva, right? Be it teleportation, be it materialization, consciousness of a matter, where you're able to move any object you want. And it's not just for the show, like, oh, look at me move objects. Each and every power has deep science, right? Let's say consciousness of a matter. If you're going to be rolling the coconut off your palm, it's not just showing that you're moving the coconut off your palm. When you roll it off, a deep incompletion, deep root pattern breaks. So each and every power is filled with those kind of science behind it. And Hinduism is just much more. And that's just one dimension of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And yes, understand, Swamiji has incarnated as Paramashiva himself, because the world has hit rock bottom and it's continuing to deteriorate that way. And thankfully, we have His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, to lead us to the right pathway of peace and love. And honestly, in today's world, touch your heart. Whoever is viewing this, all the participants and the viewers who have joined us in this platform, touch your heart and say, or touch your heart, and you all will just know that in today's world, what we are mostly lacking is not even the gender equality or no non-violence, nothing. What we really require is just peace and love. And for a long time, we have not been exposed to that kind of an environment, and continuously getting exposed to a negative environment is what has gotten us in today's place. And that is exactly why Swamiji is beautifully giving us satsangs, Bhava Samadhi Darshan, and every day enriching us to live the higher life, not the ones which we are currently grounded to.
We again thank all the viewers who have been posting down comments on YouTube, on any social media platform that you are watching. We thank all of you for making the session more interactive by coming and posting your comments and joining us on this discussion. We request more and more of the viewers to come and drop down a comment below, join us and become a part of this discussion. Because with all of you, we're just making this segment more and more powerful and more interactive, and we are so glad that all of you are here to join us today. We have an other comment actually from J. Dasandi again, another viewer, who has commented that education needs to be qualitative.
Agreed.
We completely agree, because if you think about it, education in today's world is working solely based upon numbers. If you score a 60 on 100 or if you score a 90 on 100, that's the only way society is going to accept you.
Yeah,
Giving levels to children, saying that in the age of 15 you have to write your 10th grade, in the age of 18 you have to write your 12th grade, in the age of 21 you have to pass out from your bachelor's, and then there's so many limits, age limits that they're putting, saying that you have to finish textbook 1, textbook 2 by this grade and write an exam for that. If you see, education was never that. Back in the days when Gurukula system existed all over India, for instance, Rama finished his schooling when he was 16. And right after that, he never went for his bachelor's. He actually started ruling a kingdom at the age of 16. He was actually a king ruling his kingdom. Imagine, the word responsibility for today's youth is something so foreign. It is something that's not even there in the dictionary, which is actually the truth. It is almost as if we are far away from even taking responsibility for like a very, very small thing, even for our own lives, let alone other people. Lord Rama was taking care of an entire kingdom at the age of 16, something we cannot even cognize at today's age. We only care about what we score in a 10th grade or what we score in a 12th grade, not what we have learned from it.
I mean, you ask a person who scored like flying colors in 10th grade about, hey, what do you understand in math? They just go like, God knows, I just did it for getting the grades, right? That is exactly how the whole world runs. I myself, like, when I was doing my high school in the outer world, I would solely do the whole studies to just get good grades so I can just get it over with. And that was my base cognition about education itself. I never really cherished education because it's not that I'm not interested in imbibing the knowledge. It's the way the knowledge has been presented that made me get this resistance towards imbibing it, right? There's a big difference. And in Gurukul, each and every Balasan is so eager and they would like to know everything. They want to imbibe more knowledge. They don't have any resistance towards education. They want to know more about the world. Whereas in the outer world, the kids are just conditioned to this one little stream of how to get 90s, just learning the 8 chapters in science or learning the 10 chapters in math. And that is all. They're not able to expand more. That is also a conditioning imposed forcibly on kids from a very young age because they are not able to look beyond in their creative eyes. Instead, they just keep looking at how they can achieve a 90 out of 100 in each and every subject they have taken, so they can get it over. They can get over with the whole high school and move on with their life. They just want to get away with education, and that is solely because how in today's world education has been presented, that all the kids have this certain resistance in them in cherishing education as a whole. And I am talking from my personal experience, and again I would like to clear that I don't have a problem in acquiring and imbibing the knowledge of today's world, but the way it's been presented in schools, it's not likable. You get this automatic resistance like, oh God, why should I know about it if this is only going to be labeling how my intelligence is or how intelligent I am.
We again request more of the viewers, go ahead, post your comments down below, and we will actually go ahead and start replying to all the questions you have. Join us in this discussion and we can all move on together beautifully like we have been doing so long with all the viewers who have been commenting. We thank all of you. We request more of you to go ahead and post down the comments below, and for all other viewers, we request you to go down to the link below and go ahead and make your vote. Because it is only up to us to make the decisions Hindus need to make. Because who else is going to be deciding for Hinduism if not the Hindus, right? So we'll give you a minute for all of you to go ahead and click on the link and make your vote. And for the rest of you all, whoever has already signed up, whoever has already voted, we request you to go ahead, put down a comment letting us know your thoughts, your views on what we are speaking, what you feel on the gender equality or the violence that is happening around the world. We request all of you to come be a part of this discussion. So it'll be a more interactive and a more progressive discussion.
Thank you so much, Jaysha and Vijesha. So we have seen the depth of what needs to be done and how the present world is and where it is traveling. So let us now get into the presentation where what is the actual vision of Sri Kailasa and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, what Swamiji has given us as a vision to the whole humanity. So the bold vision for the humanity through the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations invites Sri Kailasa is working for uniting nations for 108 purposes and goals based on world elevate the consciousness and equality, quality of life of every single human being on planet Earth. Footprint in over 100 efforts of more than 200 NGOs. So here we have few topics where in these aspects where the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations are working towards. So Sri Kailasa and children, Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for revival of ancient civilization. So if you have seen, the Sri Kailasa is actually working towards reviving each and every civilization which is there available in Hinduism. So Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for enlightened beings and avatars. Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for conscious studies and practice. Like this, we have various aspects where Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations is actively participating and contributing towards each and every tradition. So the Sri Kailasa is an all-inclusive nation with families, schools, and monastic order for the fabric of our own nation. So now let us see why the Sri Kailasa is required.
Here is the Australia Kailasa. How can I be so lucky and have a happy life in Kailasa? It's a long story. My name is Li Qi. My guru is His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashiva. Since I was very little, I already wonder what life for. I really want to know the result, the reason. A long time ago, I think if I earn enough money, I will be a very happy person, and then life is for happy. I tried to earn money, and then I'm really rich, but money didn't give me happy. Then I tried to get the happy life in romantic love. Then the really romantic love take me go lots of place. Too many stories during this time. But I still don't feel I get the result, get the life reason. Then I start study from book, from video, from religion in many different ways. And when I study Buddha, that time I really appreciate Buddha gives so much intelligence to me about life. But I don't think study is enough for me. I want to be Buddha. But I don't know how. Who can let me get there? One day I find the video in YouTube introduce Swamiji in that video. I suddenly, my eyes open wide. I get it. And he can take me home, real home. This kind of feeling, one day Swami decided he needed home. Money to decide to give the
What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to KAILASA, it's okay. KAILASA can come to you. What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to KAILASA, it's okay. KAILASA can come to you. KAILASA coming to you is KAILASA.
What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word KAILASA, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. Whatever you think as your strength, like how much cash you have, how much gold you have, how much money you have in the bank, what all properties you have, your secret passwords, passcodes, your strength secrets, you will tell only to your son or your daughter to whom you are going to give your inheritance. Same way, most important powerful secrets Paramashiva has given to his son Muruga, Subramanya, in Agama called Sarvanyanottaragamam. All the powerful secrets the father will tell only to his son. It is too secret. I am going to open that Agama and give all the essence of all those secrets. Secrets of Charyapada lifestyle, secrets of Kriyapada, secrets of Yogapada, and secrets of Jnanapada. I'll make you all feel you are 16, not just physically, even mentally. You will all be romancing with the whole universe. No frustration, nothing, no corona, no depression, no bothering about economy, no sudu, no soranai, nothing. Next 16 days, no fantasy, only visualization, no delusion, only consciousness. Whatever you think as your strength, like how much cash you have, how much gold you have, how much money you have in the
viewers on our side. We thank all of the viewers for actually sticking on with us to continue and further our discussion. Again, we request all of you to go ahead and comment on the YouTube or the social media platform where you are watching this live video. And we also request all of you to go ahead and make your decision by voting on the link down below. So like we were saying, we are almost in a time where violence has become predominant in most of our lives. Be it a young child at the age of 3 to an older woman at the age of 65. It has become something of a daily basis, be it domestic abuse, be it self-abuse, be it sexual assault. Violence comes in many forms. Not only affecting one physically, but is also breaking them psychologically and mentally, affecting their lives and well-being. Violence is something that has become so common out in the world today. Be it children suffering in war, or women finding it hard to walk on the street. In every corner, shadowing each and every individual, scarring them. It is something that is very painful to be even talking about, because most of us know about this in today's world, and yet we tend to turn a blind eye towards it. Understand that there are many forms of violence, not only to children and other human beings, but especially to these animals that are suffering out there. We have come to a level where violence is extended to even the innocent creatures that do not have a voice. In fact, human beings, the sole cause as to why there were so many species being wiped out from planet Earth. Wikipedia says that more than 99% of all species that ever lived on planet Earth, amounting to over 5 billion species, are estimated to have died out. Mass extinctions are relatively rare events. However, isolated extinctions are quite common. Only recently have extinctions become recorded, and scientists have become alarmed at the current high rate of extinctions. Most species that become extinct are never scientifically documented. Some scientists estimate that up to half of presently existing plants and animal species may become extinct by 2100. That is, the next century. Man-made climate change, which lead to loss of habitat and food, overfishing, pollution, loss of habitat, poaching, habitat destruction, illegal trapping and trade, and mostly slaughtering animals for meat, have become the main reasons as to why animals are being pushed to the verge of extinction.
And not just that, the novel coronavirus is also caused by none other than us living in the planet. And understand, because of our greed to satisfy our 4-inch or 6-inch tongue, we are ready to kill as much as lives as possible just for that. Right? And because of our greediness and our uncontrollable eagerness to eat whatever, right? Whatever has led to this coronavirus, where each and every single being on this planet has been affected. And understand, this is just a warning. Coronavirus is not the worst thing. If we are going to be continuing our lifestyles based on just violence, understand the world is going to be facing much more worse situations similar to coronavirus, right? So this is just a taste of how it will be if we be continuing our lives operating from the sole cognition of violence. And if you see, that is exactly what Swamiji touched upon. Looking at the whole world, if you analyze very closely, each and every problem that has become big, whatever has built to, from past years, whatever has been built, it's built on violence. So each and everything, if you analyze it and break it down, it all boils down to this one emotion, this one feeling, and that is violence. And that is exactly what Swamiji is saying, that we should not be feeling, we should be in the space of ahimsa paramo dharmaha. We should not even have the thought of killing, or not, you should not even think about killing. Not even the word should occur. That is the lifestyle that we live here strongly and strictly. If we abide by that, is when your whole system, which has been drawn to this violence so easily, will actually stop. You will stop thinking about it. You will stop fantasizing about how it would be. You will just stop it all. You will start respecting each and everything around you. You will start looking at even an ant even an ant moving about. You will think, yes, even this has a life. You will start being more sensitive. That is what Hinduism as a whole installs in you, brings you to that level of sensitivity and consideration that the world right now is greatly missing. We're so excited to be announcing to all of you that we have live satsang with none other than our beloved Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagatguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam is coming for a live satsang, gracing us all with his beautiful darshan and going to be filling us with even more powerful cognitions. We request all of you to be staying tuned until then, until the live satsang, which is happening at 12 a.m. IST. Again, if you have not already shared this video across many of your social media platforms, we request all of you to do so, because if Swamiji is coming for satsang, it is only to be sharing even more truths that is going to be helping the world. So we request all of you to go